that we have covered a lot. So I have resolved the relations that we used for the examples. Possibly we initiated correlated subquery. Suppose find the students who have scored. Find the students and subject, this combination, who have scored more than average in the subject, in the corresponding subject. So in the output, we need student and subject combination. Say, for the time being, say student means role, subject means subject role. So from result, we can find out this combination. Select role score from result. So obviously there is a condition where score will be greater than. Now see, we have to find out the average score of that subject. Suppose in the result table, we have the tables like these. Say role, subject code, score. Say role 1, subject code S1, there is some score. Role 1, subject 2, some score. Role 2, subject 1. Role 2, subject 3, some score, like that. So whenever we are taking a table from the outer query, then corresponding to this subject code, we have to find out the average score. Whenever we will be moving to the next one, again corresponding to the subject code, we have to find out the average score. So now inner query is related with the outer query. So select average score from result, where see these two results, but we have taken a special example. This is self correlation, where in the outer query and in the inner query, we are using the same tables. Say this is R1, this is R2. So where R2 dot score equals to R1 dot score. So whenever we are moving to the next table, this R1 dot score is getting changed. So corresponding to that, we have to find out the average score. So the mechanism is like this. Take a table from table in outer query. This will say this is our candidate table. For each candidate table, execute inner query use the outcome to decide action on candidate table. So basically for each candidate table, we have to carry out this thing. Now, so we can understand, unlike the simple subquery, Here the inner query will be executed number of times. Number of times. Right? Suppose we want to find out. So this one here, if the outer query and inner query, if we are working with the same relations, then obviously we have to go for this aliasing. Then this, if this is a correlated query, so inner query, correlated query, if the outer and inner query are using the same relation, then we'll say this is self-correlation. Suppose find the subjects. I'm assuming for every student, for every subject, score is there. So if absent somebody, then there is an entry with null. Let us say. Find the subject where nobody has failed. Say, among those who appear. Who have appeared. So we have assumed if somebody is absent, then also there is an entry with null there. Or if it is so that if somebody is absent, I will not put it, then forget it. So basically, we want to find the subject information. So we want to select, say, SCOM S9 from subject. Where? So among the not null entry in the result for that particular subject, so again correlated. Whenever we will moving to the next tuple in the subject, we will have to go for executing, verifying the condition. So for every subject tuple, we will have to go for verification. So we need to go for some correlated. We are avoiding the join. Then what we can do? See, we can do it in number of ways. We can say where not exists, select start from result, where as we have considered we may have some null value also, not equals to null, and score less than subject dot first marks. Now see, this exists operator, it gives true if query returns at least one tuple as the outcome, else false. So obviously not exist will be reversed. So these will be returning the tuples, maybe more than one tuples, tuples corresponding to the students who have appeared for the subject, so not null, and the score is less than first marks. So failed cases. So if it is not existing, then in that particular subject, those who appeared in the exam, nobody has failed. Right? Or it can be done in another way also. Say, we can if we go for this, select count star. So if in a particular subject nobody has failed, means see, this count star will never give us null. If it cannot find any people satisfying this condition, it will be returning 0. So 0 equals to this. That means nobody who have appeared in that subject has failed in the exam. So we will be getting list of those subjects. Right? So this is correlated subquery. So see, along with our daily statement, if required, see I have said the action on the candidate table. It may be daily, it may be update. So everywhere, or if I want to go for, okay, it's not only a select kind of thing. So as we have said, the where, the having, group by having, for condition checking, always as per the requirement, you can go for applying those things and the action, not only the select statement, it may be delete, it may be update. Now suppose if we look into some DDL statements, so far what we have done, that create table. This is a DDL statement. If I want to drop a table, drop table name, that is also a DDL statement. It will not only remove all the data, but also the schema also. It will remove the extension and injection of the relation. Right? We can go for to modify the schema. As we have said, modification of the schema is not a frequent operation. If every day, if we want to go for changing the schema, then our design is not good. Right? So to modify the schema, the command is alter table name. You can go for adding the table. So adding new columns. So these we can go on adding the columns, but mind it, if certain tables are already present, then constants like not null cannot be used, because for the existing columns, for the existing tuples, for these newly added columns, it will either have the null value unless we have the default. If we set something default, then it's okay. Otherwise, we cannot put the not null kind of constants. Right? Instead of adding the columns, we can go and modify the columns also. So we can go on describing the columns, but these are existing columns. Now what we can do, for the existing column, always we can go for increasing the size. That is always allowed. Decreasing the size, or change of data type, change of type. This will be allowed if there are no tuples. If there are no tuples, because reducing the size or changing the type, that may lead to the loss of data. So that's why this will be allowed only if there are no tuples. You can go for removing some constraint also, drop constraint. Now see, if we don't put our own constraint name, then system given constraint name we have to put. If we want to remove some constraint, we can go for deleting the columns. Delete column name. We can go for changing the column name, old name, new name. These are the new additions. Earlier these things were not allowed, but now these are also allowed. So we can add new columns, we can change, depending on certain situation, we can change, modify the existing column, we can rename the existing column, we can remove a particular column, and we can drop a constraint also. So alter table. So this is again one kind of DDL step. Now, there is another version of create table. Say, create table, table name as somewhere. So this table will have the schema same as that of the query output. A query also gives us, as a result, it will be giving us some relation. So that relation also has a schema. And it will contain the tuples returned by the query. Suppose from our result table, as we have assumed, for the absent candidate, score is null. So now suppose from here we want to create a table like absent roll score. So what you can do, create table absent as select roll score from result where score is null. So this is the schema of the output relation of this query. So this one will have absent roll and score, those are the schema. Then from result, where this will give us certain number of tuples. So those will also be included into this absent table. So we are creating a table through the query. So not only that, we will be having the schema, which will also automatically have certain tuples. Now, if we want to give a different name, say x, y, then there is a one-to-one correspondence. As if in the output relation, x roll number is named as x, this code is named as y. Okay, so this is one form of, another form of creativity. Now suppose we created a table like this, backlog, roll, score. The students were having the backlog. Right? So this table is present. Now, from here we want to insert the relevant data. It is holding the result of all. So we assume, say, score is null and score is less than the past ones. For those combinations of roll score, that will be kept here. Now see, if the table structure is not there, then we could have used it this way. But if the structure is there, then also we have an insert statement. Insert into backlog. And we can put the query. Find it. Earlier there was as. Now there is no as. You just check. Possibly there may be a values clause. Maybe. Just check the syntax. So we can say select roll score from result where score is null or score is less than. Again we have to go for select. For this particular subject, we have to find out the first ones. So select PM from subject. Say I am aliasing subject as S, result as R. So where S dot score equals to R dot score. So see, whenever we are going for the sub-query kind of thing, there will be a nesting also. So see, from here, it will give us those role and subject code where score is null or if the score is less than the corresponding first ones. So here it is correlated. Right? So we have another version of this insert. So if the table is already present, if I want to put the data as the output of another query, that also can be done using this insert statement. There is another concept called view. See, as we have talked about at the very beginning, that we have a physical level, conceptual level, then the view level. Suppose we have the list of students, say role, name, department code, etc., etc. Suppose we want that this is the for all students. If we want that, say HOD CSE will work with students of CSE. Similarly, HOD Civil will work with students of Civil. Then what shall we do? One way is that you will be creating one table for these, one table for these, then getting the things from all. You have to go for union kind of thing. Other way is that, okay, we will be creating different view. It's not that somebody may say that, okay, I want to avoid the union, so I will be having a composite student having the data of all the students, and again I will copy the part of the things to form the CSE students, ETC students, civil students, like that. Then see redundancy. Thus, every student in information, once that will be in the student table, again in the particular department related table. So whenever there is redundancy, not only wastage of space, if all are not updated properly, there will be inconsistency. So those problems will come up. So here the view can be another option. Suppose if I do create view, say CSC student, so as we are writing the query, say select star from student, where decode equals to, this is, we are creating a view. So how is it defined from our table? What happens whenever we are creating a view? Once a view is created, the definition is stored into data dictionary. The definition is stored, that this is the definition. This is stored into the data dictionary. It's not a physically separate table or relation. Only a logical one. Now, as HOD CSE may not be aware of the student. He knows that if I want to deal with my students, I have to go for this CSE student. So HOD COC may consider, okay, this is my table. So simply just like a table, you can write select star from CSE student. So for him, as if this is the database, this is the table. Right? So that is one particular thing. So it adds to the security also. That I will not allow everybody to look into all the data. If you taking the relevant data, we will be defining a view and the user will be working with the view. So whenever we are writing from, it may be a table name or it may be a view name. So database manager that will look into consult the data dictionary to see is it a table or view. If it is a table, fine. If it is a view, then in the data dictionary the definition is stored. So if it is a view, it will collect the definition from data dictionary and use it to our tool. So as it will be replaced by this query from, as if within brackets select star from this thing. Now, if the view say it is, okay, again we may, it's not necessary that I have to select everything. We can use any kind of expression here, or you can make summary information, whatever you like. And you can, if the attribute names, if we want to make different, we can specify the attribute names also. Instead of star, if we put the names, then there is a one-to-one correspondence. Star means all the column following the order of creation. Attributes, the order in which we have specified. With that, if we have one-to-one correspondence. If I want to use the same attribute name, then I can drop this one. Now this view may be based on single table, or it may be based on multiple table. Now see, if it is based on single table, say the view based on single table. If it is so, one can carry out the select operation, one can go for insert operation, one can go for modify operation, one can go for delete operation. It affects the physical table because view is not the physical one. So actually I am inserting into the view means inserting into the table. Actually modifying the tuple through view means actually modifying the final table. Same thing delete also. But whenever we are doing these things, mind it, say if schema doesn't contain schema of view is subset of attributes of the physical table, then whenever inserting into this view or others or attributes not in view, null or default value, if it is specified in the original table, default values are considered. Then may lead to constraint violation. Suppose in our CSE student, that one we have not put the department code. Now we are inserting things, so we are not giving the value of the department code. Then if it is a foreign key kind of thing, that may lead to some problem. But otherwise, theoretically we can go for insert, modify, delete operation that will affect the original table. The one thing, again, suppose we have written create view, say CSE student as select star from student. Now suppose I am going for this insert into CSE student. Values. Giving the values, the department code, if I write department code etc, still it will be added. Now see, HOD CSE, inserting into the CSE student, putting the department code etc, that may not be accepted. But this will be done. Now Oracle provides a special clause with check option. This part is optional. This is a constant. So if I want to give a constant name, I can give some name also. Now what will happen? As this is specific to Oracle. If we use this particular clause, if this clause is used, then while inserting or modifying, violation of definition will not be accepted. So the clauses that we have used, sorry, here we had some where decode equals to CS. So this is the condition. So I cannot make a violation to this. There will be other conditions also if you want to put, say, and date of birth is this, that, etc. So whatever may be the where clause used in our view definition. So whenever I will inserting, I cannot violate this condition if this check option is used. Okay. Now, if the view is based on multiple table, then only select operation viewing the data is allowed, because it is now based on multiple relations. So if I want to go for insert operation, it will be lots of burden on the right, whether to insert on multiple tables, then which value will go where. So lots of difficulty, pressure will come on the system. So on multiple table based view, selection is allowed, insertion, deletion, modification, those things are not allowed. So possibly that's all for SQL. Now, when I say something regarding this is again Oracle specific. In case of Oracle, the database, this is the logical side. This is partitioned into number of table spaces. Now this table space, say it contains the tables, indexes, etc. And physically we know that whenever with the secondary storage, the data structure that we can have, that is nothing but the file. So how to relate? Now see, a user may work with multiple table spaces. So many to many relations between user and table space. I'm a user, I can have access to number of table spaces. Table. A particular table belongs to only one table space, but in a table space, I can have number of tables. But a particular table belongs to one table space. User owns number of tables. But for a table, normally there is one owner. The person, the user creating the table is the owner. Although I can grant ownership to others also, forget it. Not in that sense, but anyway. So this kind of thing. Physically we have the file. Physically we have the file. So how they are related? A table space consists of one or more files, but a particular file belongs to one table space. So this is the relationship. Now see, database administrator creates the table space. So see, at the table space level, we have the relationship between the logical and the physical. So creates table spaces. At that time, the DBA can specify for this table space what is the file name. file name and the size, etc., etc., that DB can specify. Later, there is a command create table space. Similarly, there is alter table space. If there is huge growth in the table space, I need more space. Say almost the file is being consumed, so I can add more files to the table space using the alter table space command. So see, physically at the table space level, it is related with the files. That's the only linking between the physical and the logical level. This is specific to Oracle. Now see, our user, or say a particular table belongs to one table space. So I know that, and say there are so many tables in the table space. All will go to the same file corresponding to that table space. So see, if I want to punish my frame, I will be creating a particular file. If I am working in the same table space, as a result, I will use my own data also. Because table space is holding tables of multiple users, and those are all going to the same file. So we cannot segregate that this particular file is holding only my data until unless in that table space only I am the only user. Right, so keep this thing in mind. Now, while this concept of table space, normally what happens? So we are using, say, in the industry, you are working in the same Oracle database in your organization, 5 projects are going on. So we can logically partition one table space for the one project. At the table space level, there is some export-import facility in the Oracle. So whenever from my side to client side, I want to transfer the definitions and all, I can export at the table space level. You can import at the table space level. You can take the backup at that table space level. So that's the utility of this division table space. Now a particular user can have access to multiple table space. Say a person is working in different projects, for each project a separate table space. So how the user will define that I am creating a particular table, in which table space it will be. Mind it, whenever we are installing Oracle, always a particular table space is created, system table space, that holds the data dictionary. That is one of the specialty, holds data dictionary. So installing Oracle means automatically this table space is there. So if I don't create any table space, I'm working with the same single table space, and that's not fair because it will be used by the system. So it's better to keep it alone. So the database administrator should create a separate table space. Now, when we will see this later, whenever the database administrator creates user account, then can specify what will be the default table space for that user, and also can specify, also can allow this particular user not only the default table space, also it can grant resources on other table space. So that way, a particular user can have access to multiple table space. Whenever the user will be creating the table, normally it goes to the default table space specified for the user by the DB. Otherwise, when I am creating the table, create table name, those columns and all those things, then using the table space clause, if I know that I have access to multiple table space, I want to put this table into a different table space which is not the default one for me. So you give the table space name. Right? So that way, DBA can allow a particular user to have access in the multiple table spaces, and user when creating the table can specify in which table space it has to be created. Otherwise, a default table space specified for it will be used for creating the tables. And we can map Logical level to physical level only at the table space level, not at the table level. Right? So with this I will stop SQL part. Some commands in the context of security I will come later. So now we will go for a very important topic, that is functional dependency. So obviously this is in the context of database design. So far we have talked about AR diagram, that is the beginning to understand the data requirement, what data, which what data will be working in our system. So that part will be captured through the AR diagram. That may help us at the preliminary design, but more formal approach of designing is based on functional dependence.